All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music and the lack of reaction from the rock community regarding what's going on in Israel. And of course, talking about this in real time for a few real people, literally just a few, just like you and just like me. In fact, folks, if you can watch the videos and subscribe to the channel, again, I don't know. I can't have a video get 1,300 views at this stage when I have 74,000 subscribers. Something is wrong. I know my content isn't the greatest content, but um, that doesn't make any sense. Anyway, folks, I'm going to be talking about what happened in Israel. And I'm probably going to make a lot of people mad with this video. Uh, there's a reason I'm politically homeless, right? You can watch my other channel and find out about all of that. But when it comes to music and politics, these two things aren't supposed to, go together, much like religion and politics. Here's the deal, though. When a Supreme Court justice passes away, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, you can go back and look at how rockers react to the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And she was a pioneer for the rock community for some reason because she was okay with genocide, especially when it comes to very small people who haven't been born yet. She was okay with that. She thought it was good. And so everybody looked up to her in the rock community. And I remember various rock websites posting about how certain people were reacting to her death. Now you look at what's going on in Israel, and so far I think the death toll now has gone up to over 1,300 people in a very small country, a country I think the size of New Hampshire, maybe, might be a little bigger than that. That's a lot of people when you factor in the size of the landmass. And our 9/11 was close to 3,000. Theirs right now is 1,300. And I've noticed people like Gene Simmons haven't weighed in, haven't seen anything. Maybe he has, and I just missed it. What was it? David Draymond from the band Disturbed. He's another guy that typically talks about this stuff. And, Roger Waters, I've defended Roger on this channel. I have said, his take on Russia, Ukraine, I think is an okay take. I don't find it problematic. I've been talking about Russia, Ukraine for a while on this channel and how musicians are all, full steam ahead, give money to Ukraine. So now we've got this atrocity. And whether you think the politics of this for Israel has been, the cause of all this for how many years, it doesn't change the fact that people got slaughtered. And it's one of the most brutal things. Now, some people are telling me this is all deep fake footage. It's the same people, by the way, come back to me and talk about, how on 9/11 the planes didn't go into the buildings, or, there were explosive devices that were planted inside the buildings after the planes went into the buildings. And you need to remember that steel doesn't melt and all this stuff. All right. We all witnessed what happened that day. I spent like a week this year going back and watching all of that footage. And, much like 9/11, Israel was caught off guard. And yeah, was it an intelligence failure? Massive. So, certain countries are talking about how, that's the big deal, how Israel missed it, how the United States missed it, how Egypt said something and nobody paid any attention to what they were saying. That doesn't change the fact that people were slaughtered by crazy, insane people who aren't capable of living in the first world. I don't care what kind of oppression they're under. I really don't. That type of reaction does not belong in the civilized world. But nobody is really reacting. Rockers aren't reacting. Um, there are some here in America who I think have the right take. Sometimes it's kind of a knee-jerk take. We support Israel. Okay, it's beyond that. Do you support civility or do you support savagery? Okay, that's what you really need to look at. Don't even look at ideology. Don't look at religion. Don't look at any of that stuff. Look at, do you want savages doing savage things? Or do you want civil people? Do you want to live in a world where you can expect peace and tranquility? And if a certain group of people can't live that way, then something needs to be done about it. I speculated on the other channel that we need like Harry Truman right now. And again, I'm I'm not a warmonger. I'm a peacemaker. I'm thinking that you do something drastic and you don't have to send troops in for 20 years. It'll end up saving people money. Now I know that's harsh. And getting back to Roger Waters and some of the things that he said, I think he may have taken a few things to an extreme at this stage. And again, I've been very apologetic and very supportive of his ability to make a case for what he believes. And I think he should still be able to do that. But he can be making that case and be wrong. And so a lot of people, I think, need to come to grips with that. Now, as far as the rest of the so-called rock community, the silence is kind of deafening here. I mean, nobody takes any risks anymore. Well, if I side with this group of people, then I'm going to lose this portion of my audience. So I can't really have any opinions on anything. I understand the financial risk to this, but we're talking about how the third world really can't coexist with the first world. And you can do as much as you possibly can so you can accommodate those people to make it easier for them to live. You can build houses. You can give land away. You can encourage people not to be savages. All right. But if there's an ideology that is forming the way these people think and then the way they behave, like they have no regard for what they did. They have no, and this was a slaughter of just, again, like 1,000 years ago. This is the kind of stuff that happened 1,000 years ago. We don't do that stuff anymore because supposedly we're enlightened and we live in a civilized world, but apparently we don't. And so the rock community, which in the old days used to be very outspoken and opinionated, is very, very silent. I mean, I looked for a number of days, and I'm sure there are articles out there, and I'm sure there are people that have made statements. But, again, I saw a ton of activity when Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away, and how she was this incredible icon that the free love generation looked up to because they could continue their free love without any consequences. That's really why they looked up to her. So in any event, folks, I know there's not that much to talk about. I mean, I'll put out some more content today. But I think, when a world event captures the imaginations of most people who care about human beings, when that happens, things should kind of stop. And you should kind of focus on those things. I mean, life is short, and apparently for people in Israel, it was just shortened drastically. 1,300 people right now. And a music festival, which I did make a video about, was kind of like a flashpoint for this entire thing. So anyway, folks, thanks for watching. God bless everybody. God bless even Israel, okay? Regardless of where you stand politically, no human being should be treated the way those people were treated prior to exiting this world, and they shouldn't have to live in this kind of fear. Nobody should. This really takes us all back to 9/11, and terrorism is bad no matter who's doing it and no matter who it's against. So there you go.